Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of Arrow. And for the most part, I really enjoyed this episode. I finally got some screen time with my man Diggle, and we got to see some very interesting stuff go down with Oliver and Raza Ghul. So, here it is, guys. We see Raza at the very beginning, and he's hanging out in his little hot tub. And Nissa comes into the room, and she is none too pleased that Oliver Queen is still alive. And she is furious with her father that he won't do anything about it. And she brings up the fact that her father never approved of her relationship with Sarah, and he pretty much counters that with saying that he knew that Sarah would leave one way or another, and that it's her fault for falling for somebody who he knew would break her heart eventually. So of course we spend most of this episode with Malcolm Merlin running from the League of Assassins because lovely Thea pretty much gave him up. She's so frustrated with her dad that she handed him over to the League of Assassins. We also got some bombs being dropped on Laurel, and she found out the truth that Thea is the one that killed her sister. And of course, not of course, but again, I liked how they had Laurel handle that reveal. It wasn't, oh my goodness, I'm so mad at you, but it was, you did not do this. You were drugged. You were not aware of what you were doing. It wasn't your choice. But then she then says, but whatever you do moving forwards is going to be your choice. So of course, this is when Thea decides to turn her father over to the League of Assassins, and they come to get him. Now, I keep saying in my past reviews, Laurel is definitely not getting under my skin as much as she used to, and I'm liking her as the, I guess, Black Canary 2.0, but she needs to stay in her lane. When she went up to try to step to Malcolm Merlin, I was like, seriously, what are you doing? And then I'm glad that Oliver calls her out in a couple scenes later, and he's like, are you crazy? Like, did you really think you were going to go up against Malcolm Merlin and get anywhere with that? So, I understand it. Laurel's upset. She's grieving still over the death of her sister. She wants revenge. She wants vengeance. But honey, it ain't gonna go down the way you think it's gonna happen. You're just not strong enough. Oliver and isn't even strong enough, and of course Oliver and Thea going up against Malcolm isn't even strong enough. So sometimes Laurel, I'm enjoying her, and then sometimes I'm like, stop. Now, the other thing that was kind of annoying me in this episode was we were sort of getting the same conversations over and over again. It was very much lather, rinse, repeat when it came to everybody trying to talk Oliver down from going to try to find Ra's al Ghul and save Malcolm Merlin. And it's like, for the last few episodes, we've been dealing with Oliver working with Malcolm Merlin. Do we like it? Maybe not, but it is a necessity, and the gang all knows this. So for them to continually, going on and on about, oh, why do you want to go save Malcolm? Oh, why do you want to go fight Ra's al Ghul? Oh, why? It was like, okay, guys, this is what he's been doing for the last little bit. Like, this is the plan. So can we stop with the you can't go, you can't go? Are you trying to kill yourself? Bandwagon. It was just, again, like I found myself like rolling my eyes a bit because it's like, haven't we been down this road already a few times? So I am glad that when they realized where Nanda Parbat. I can't even say this place. Nanda Parbat. That's, I guess, the location of Ra's al Ghul's home. And once Oliver was trying to figure that out, Diggle decided he was going to go with him. And at the very beginning of the episode, he was like, I have to ask you something, but maybe now's not the right time. And so it was something that I kept going, what does he want to ask him? And then his wife, or his fiance, brings it up again. And I like that we got to see more Diggle in this episode. He was, working side by side with Oliver. They had some good moments of bonding, and, Diggle was being a really good friend to Oliver. And that is one of the things that I really liked about their relationship, is that they have a lot of chemistry because they are friends, and a little bit more than friends. It feels like they're brothers. So by the end, when Diggle reveals that he wants Oliver to be the best man, I was like, yay! And then I was like, oh my God, I hope they don't kill Diggle, because Diggle was getting a lot of scenes in this episode. I felt like, is this our farewell to Diggle? Because I will not be happy. So I'm very pleased that it was revealed that he wanted Oliver to be his best friend. And I also like that, when he asked him, it was sort of like they're chained to the ground, like this could be the death of both of them. So he at least got to ask him and say that, you are like a brother to me. So I thought that was a really great scene. We got some flashbacks in this episode once again, and this is after Oliver was interrogated by, I guess it was the military, and then he was released, and he said that, okay, now you've given us everything that we need to know, you can go anywhere that you want. So Oliver's getting ready to go, and he's not hanging out, but he's leaving, and Maceo and his wife and son are there to say goodbye to them, and just as they're about to leave, they're ambushed. And it looks like it's Amanda Waller's people, and she's not very pleased that Oliver's trying to hightail it out of there. But, all this gunfire ensues, and Oliver grabs the son, and they take off, And so this is, I guess, the last time Oliver sees Maceo and his wife for a bit. Were the flashbacks that great? It was all right. But it wasn't anything where you're just sort of riveted and on the edge of your seat. So, of course, we also had Thea in this episode dealing with the fact that she's fully aware that she's killed Sarah. She's now gone to Laurel and told Laurel the truth. And then her and Roy have some good scenes where he's trying to tell her, when I was under the influence of the Mirakuru drug, I did something horrible. I killed a cop. And this is how I've had to deal with it. And he takes Thea to a home where there's a woman and a child, and it's the wife of the man that he killed. And he just says, I've been giving them money, I've been giving them groceries. Like, this is sort of my way of coping with this horrible thing that I've done. And then Thea, in turn, goes to Nissa, who Oliver had locked up in, I guess they have a new cell in the lair, and she reveals to Nissa that she is the one that killed Sarah, and if you want your revenge, go ahead, take it. And she gives her the knife. Really? Fine. I will say that earlier on in the episode, we had a really, really, really great fight scene once again with Nissa and Oliver, and then Malcolm Merlin and the men from the League of Assassins. It was really nicely choreographed, and then them ultimately taking Malcolm away. But yeah, we had a couple of really good fight scenes, and then even off the very top of the episode, you see Oliver and Thea fighting with Malcolm, and just, all the maneuvering that they still need to work on, and the fact that Malcolm had knives to both of their throats, on opposite sides of him, were also really cool. So yeah, a couple of good fight scenes in this episode. And then of course we had Felicity working alongside Ray, and he's been working on that suit, and they finally got it to work, or he did, and him and Felicity hooked up in this episode. And you know what? I'm absolutely fine with it. I kind of like Ray and Felicity. Again, I'm not really digging the whole Felicity and the preachy person that she's turned into. That stuff can be left alone. Can we stop writing her this way, because she's getting annoying. But I did like the scenes with her and Ray, and she basically was like, I can't help my friend Oliver, she didn't say his name, but she's like, I can't help him, he's probably gonna die, and there's nothing I can do there, so I'm gonna help you. So she spends her time helping Ray. She tells him to get some sleep and clean up, and then he comes out all half naked, and you're all like, hello, and then they kiss, and then of course they have to have the kiss, and then there's a flash in behind them. Like, come on, why does there always have to be a big old beam of light in between people when they kiss? It's like, enough, we get it, okay, whatever. So the next scene we see them in, they're in bed, and then Ray has this moment where he realizes something. He gets up, he finishes and completes the suit, and he goes to the rooftop, he takes off, he's dashing around the city. It's kind of cool. Now we have something to look forward to with Ray and his new suit of armor, or I'm not really sure what we're calling it. I know somebody will leave a comment down below and tell me for sure, but I can't really remember the name that they're calling this suit, or what they're even calling Ray in this suit. Anyways, it was pretty good. I liked that he finally got it to work, and that him and Felicity, might start to become a couple. That works for me. So of course now, when we have Diggle and Oliver in this prison, I guess, that's on this Nanda Parbat island, home, whatever we call it. They find like Maseo comes in and because we all know that he's working back with the League of Assassin, and he says to Oliver, "It's time." And then he takes him into the room with Ra's al Ghul, and he's kneeling on the ground, and he exchanges some words with Raza, and Raza basically says, "Look, I'm not interested in killing you. I want you to take over or become the new me." So clearly, he has a tremendous amount of respect for Oliver slash the Arrow, because he does not want to give the title to his daughter Nissa, who's still locked up in prison back in the lair. He wants to hand over the title to Oliver Queen. That is right, people. Oliver's going to become the head of the League of Assassins? Should be interesting. Yeah, so that is how the episode ended. It was definitely not what I was expecting. And that's a good thing, because when these shows get to be too predictable, you get bored. So now it looks like Oliver has some thinking to do. Pretty cool. And Malcolm is hanging from the ceiling like some rotisserie chicken, hanging over like a fire pit. And I don't know how he's going to get out of that sticky situation, but I'm sure it will not be for too long that he will be strung up there. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything that went down in this episode. Laurel tried to get a hold of her father again. It's been over a week since he knows that Sarah's died, and she's pretty much pleading with him to, have the two of them work this out together. Laurel also was, standing up to Oliver once again. And I like that she says, "I can't remember the time when I was actually in love with you." Because it's like they're so far removed from the people that they used to be. And of course, she's really upset that that Oliver wanted to help save Malcolm, and knowing that he's the one that ultimately is the one that killed Sarah. And, I think Laurel really just needs to deal with the fact that this is the new world order. They're going to work with their enemies. They're going to work with people that you can't trust, because it's for the greater good. You've got to be able to take down the big bad, or so they believe that they're trying to take down the big bad, which is Ra's al Ghul. But now he wants Oliver on his team. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. I don't believe it's back for a while. I think it's gone for like a month. So this was a good little cliffhanger to end on. Pretty good episode. All right, guys, that's it for me.